History was made at the Colorado State Capitol today. For the very first time, members of the Ute, Mountain Ute, and Southern Ute nations were invited to address a joint session of the legislature.
Denver 7's Megan Lopez was there and shows us the long list of concerns the tribes want state lawmakers to address.
For a while now, Colorado has taken steps to honor its tribal nations, from land recognitions to sacred traditions, and passing laws last year like banning schools from using Indigenous mascots and the creation of a missing and murdered Indigenous relatives office. But even with all that, never before has there been a moment like this.
Will the escort committee please proceed to the podium?
A moment when tribal leaders have been invited to the state capitol to formally address lawmakers. A sort of state of tribal states. A chance for the chairman of the Ute, Mountain Ute, and Southern Ute tribes to speak honestly about their needs.
It's movement. It's been a long time coming for our past leaders.
Because it was their first address and because it was so long coming, the list of topics was long, spanning everything from voting rights to education, housing to water rights, gray wolves to renewable energy.
And you may not realize that your legislation may unintentionally appear to affect those living on tribal lands and impinge upon the tribe's jurisdictions.
But one of the biggest topics both tribes touched on was sports betting. Proposition DD in 2019 legalized a now multi-billion-dollar industry but left tribes out.
Ute Mountain Ute tribe is still not able to participate in online sports betting like every other casino in the state.
They are allowed to offer in-person sports betting, but not online betting like other casinos, so they're losing out on millions. They say that money would mean
More job opportunities, more housing, more infrastructure,
and a chance to better the lives of their people. So they're asking state lawmakers to make a fix this year. Tax money from that betting also goes to the state water projects. The tribes say they want to see some of it go to water projects of their own.
This money should not go to the state of Colorado. Even though we're a gaming tribe, it should focus more on the two tribes.
For these tribes, the list of needs is long and the legislative session is short. But they say the key is communication, knowing
that we can't always agree on every issue, but sometimes it's better to disagree and work together.
Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And going deeper tonight, another topic the tribes addressed was the reintroduction of wolves to our state. In his speech, Chairman Baker said while wolves are considered sacred, they are also a threat to the tribal livestock. Last month, Colorado laid out its initial draft on how they plan to reintroduce gray wolves to our state. Colorado wildlife officials plan to bring in 30 to 50 gray wolves over the next 3 to 5 years. And those wolves would then be released into the state's forests on the west slope. Now, Chairman Baker says he hopes the state will respect tribal sovereignty in their wolf management plan. And there is still time. A final vote on the plan won't happen until next year.
And a law passed last year allowed today's historic address. Former State Senator Carrie Donovan was primary sponsor of that measure, and she says the speeches today were eye-opening and the requests made will be possible with some work.
I think the ones that, that really stood out to me were the water rights that they own and can't access because they haven't made those connections yet. I mean, there's a place that the state can work on.
With that measure, Donovan says Colorado is now the first state in the nation to mandate an annual legislative address from tribal leaders.